Okay, we'll just take a look at this really quick. Probably don't need audio. Well, this was a pretty cool intro. I like the different skins, and that was pretty cool. Nice job. Yeah, so zoom in, it's all cool and stuff. Like, we're just obviously going to comment on like what we can see. A lot of this seemed to be like a little bit more group oriented, so I'll kind of keep that in mind with my feedback. Not just like how to win a 1v1, but also just how to like play in a group. So for example, like in this kind of a situation right here, one thing I will say is will do you a lot of favors in these group situations, and I don't think you end up using this, is use fleece. Fleece is usually not a skill that you really use in a 1v1, considering how quick and easy removable skills are. But a lot of time when you're in these kind of group chaotic fights, there's a lot of stuff going on, and you're going to hit a lot of targets with a fleece. So in that case, I definitely would use it here as quickly as you possibly can. Obviously, puddle as well is a little bit more valuable because any damage or AoE damage that your war leader might do, he'll benefit from as well. Okay. Or even just any single target damage that he'll do will benefit from it as well. So you're stunned. The way we like to see with Warg is we always like to see things called bestial claw chains. And bestial claw chains are essentially your bestial claws as number 1, eye gouge is number 2, double tapped obviously, and then from there you choose your skill. It might be rend, maybe you don't have this debuff yet. Usually you want to do maul as quickly as you can because that does the most damage. Maybe it's a bestial claws eye gouge cripple if you need to get a slow up. Maybe it's a bestial claws eye gouge tendon shred if you want to slow, or if you want to stun. Maybe it's bestial claws eye gouge piercing claws. This skill usually does a lot of damage against anything that has even decent mitigations. It's definitely going to usually going to be your third highest, hardest hitting individual skill behind bestial claws and maul. So those are kind of like your orders of priority here. And also I see swipe all the way over here. I would include this as part of your rotation as well. If you're getting better at Warg and getting better with your damage rotations, especially in 1v1 battles, not group fights, you will be using swipe a lot, maybe 2 or 3 times each fight, depending on how long it goes, because swipe does significantly more damage than rend. So you should always use swipe over rend unless you don't have the rend debuff yet. So you see you have rend right here. So like let's look at this here. Like let's go back. Let me actually turn down the speed just a little bit, just so we can go through this a little bit slower. So like let's say you go into this fight and you've already got cripple up, right? You've already got your slow. You already have sudden maul. You have rend, right? Let's pretend that sudden maul was on cooldown and you couldn't use his skill. The best thing to do now, if you're going for raw damage, would be to bestial claws, eye gouge, and then swipe, because you don't want to do rend here. You don't want to do rend. Rend does not do as much damage as swipe because you already have the debuff, right? So there's no point doing it again. So this is definitely a circumstance in which case I would do that. And so basically what you do is you do that 1, 2, and then whatever the 3 skill, you know, sudden maul, rend, swipe, cripple, piercing claws, maybe if you want to silence the target, tendon shred, you throw that in there as well. And then once you complete it, you're going to go 1, 2, let's just say 3. Then you're going to go back to claws, because after this skill finishes going off, maybe it's, you know, maul, rend, swipe, whatever, your bestial claws will be available again. So you can go 1, 2, you know, maybe this time 3, and then 4. And then once you complete this clause, eye gouge will be available again, and you'll be able to go, I don't know, swipe, eye gouge, and then back to bestial claws. Now I know that's a little bit complicated, but we're just going to look at this nice and slow and point out different things that you can do in your rotation. Now there's going to be a lot of things that we go over at once, so you might be a little overwhelmed. There's a lot of details, but don't worry about it. At the end, I'll give you a lot of information, but at the end, we'll kind of wrap it up and give you something to work on, okay? One other thing to note as well, I noticed that you have a tome of defense here, but you don't have your other second food. Always try and use that whenever you can if you have enough comms, because the minus 4% incoming damage food is a lot. It stacks with audacity. You know how you have negative 40% incoming damage of all types already when you're in the Atmores? I believe, no, actually I know that damage food stacks with this. So it goes from 40 to 44. So it actually, the way the math works, it's more, because you've made a skill go from 100, now you're in the Atmores, that skill does 60, right? Because of the audacity. Well, let's say you reduce that, increase this to 44, right? Now that skill doesn't do 60, it actually does only 56. So what you've actually done is you've reduced the amount of damage you take by more like 6.7% or 2/3, not 4%. And actually it's a bigger reduction than that. And also things like, I think the Gift of the Carrick, which is this little thing right here, that little buff, that also stacks as well. So it's very important that you have that minus 4% incoming damage food. The other foods are just not worth it usually. Maybe the damage food, the plus 5% damage food is kind of worth it if you're gonna go for like really cheesy glass builds, but most of the time the minus 4% incoming damage food is the best. Especially where there's so many targets, you've got a Tomo defense. If you put that in minus 4% incoming damage food, man, you're gonna be so much more tanky. Okay, so let's actually see what actually happens here. So you just got out of a stun and you're gonna go claws. Now this is a mistake, so I think you messed up a little bit here. That's okay, but you notice that you just used eye gouge, but you didn't cut any skill. You would optimally want to go claws, eye gouge, and then another skill. Or if you want to, for example, puddle, or if you want to fleas, you would go 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, because you can cut the animation of these skills. And I know you know these things, but just highlighting that this is very bad. You do not want to do this. Okay, claws. Now the next skill is up to you. They've got knives out, right? So you're not going to be doing a lot of damage right now. So maybe you could go to kite. Maybe you could use your fleas. Maybe you could definitely get this frenzy going, the 5% evade chance. That will be helpful. It's up to you. So it looks like you're going to try and do more damage, right? Okay, then they hips. Okay, so they've hipsed out, no longer need anything, okay? Oh, one other detail as well. I know there's a lot of details right now, but look at the two classes that you're fighting right now. Burglar, Guardian. Now, you don't have any on you right now, but any halfway decent Guardian or Burglar, and this goes for Wardens as well, Hunters, all of these classes, even Captains, all put wounds on you, right? Dust, bleeds, debuffs. If you can find a way to keybind your red wound pot here or wherever you can press it easily, it'll take a little bit of practice to press another button, but you need to learn how to do it because it helps out a lot. Potting dust is huge. Potting a Warden DOT, a Warden bleed, is huge. Removing a Guardian bleed is not huge, but it's helpful. So that's the easiest pot to have. Obviously, there's purple and green and yellow, and those are all useful in their own circumstances. But for certain, definitely have the red pot available and use that. Okay? So let's see what you do now. Where do you go? What target do you choose? Okay, so you're going to go in on the Guardian, sure. Probably not the best choice here. You probably want to go for the squishier targets that are going to hit you a little bit harder. The Guardian's going to take forever to kill, so I would focus on forcing these guys to, hips or disappear if you can. But slowing the Guardian's fine. Maybe that will help. Maybe stunning this guy will help prevent him from hurting your war leader or hurting you. That can help. But I don't think this is the best solution. Okay, definitely need to be stun potting this. I like to stun pot the first provoke that happens. This first stun that you have, because after that, you'll get diminishing returns, right? You'll get DR. So then all the other stuns after that guaranteed won't be so long. So always break the first stun usually, especially if it's provoke days. If it's like a fellowship maneuver, an FM, then maybe it'll be short, but the first provoke days might be really, really, really long. So you need to try and break that. Okay, was that a stun turn? Nice, stun turn, very good. Little trick with stun turn. So I think are you scrolling in there? I think you're scrolling in. In other words, you're going and you're moving in towards first person. You can actually keybind. You can keybind your first person to another button. So you'll watch some of my work videos. I actually instantly transition to first person. So boom, 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 instantly, in and out, in and out, in and out. And that can help you to stun turn even faster. Now, I know that's another button that you have to keybind, so maybe not the most important thing, but it's something that you can do if you don't feel like scrolling in and scrolling out. That can be a little slow. Okay, but good job with stun turning here, turning in towards the burglars. Okay, this guy's free kill here. Now, what I would do here I would probably, I'm under a lot of pressure right now. Like look at your health here. So this, you see this, you could be wound potting this. You could be wound potting this actually. I think it would be this that would be wound potted because anyway, I would probably tendon shred here or maybe even disappear and then pounce this guy real quick. Let's see what you do. Oh yeah, you don't have pounce, so you can't disappear. So that's not gonna work. But let's hopefully you get a stun. Again, you keep messing up this little rotation here. Do you notice what happens again? You go for the pounce, but pounce isn't ready. So you pounce, but nothing happens because it's cooldown, and then you go eye gouge claws. So that's definitely something that we need to work on. Okay. Also, where's your morale pot? Did you already use your morale pot? I don't see your pot. I don't see your other morale pot. Okay. And interesting. This would be a situation where you would morale pot, you know. You're probably going to get bubble here, but be careful. Again, use that stun pot. Use it. Okay. You're going to get a stun. Maul. See, that's no good. Why are we mauling? Use Bestial Claws, Eye Gouge, and then maul. You want this skill does more damage than this skill. Even though this one has a bleed, it will take 2 or 3, maybe even 4 ticks of this bleed for it to do more damage than this one. So it's better to just go 1, 2, 3 instantly. You get the bleed up, but you also get another claws afterwards. So this is no good. Then you're going to rend again, but look, he already has rend. You should never, ever, almost never use 2 skills back to back like this. Not Eye Gouge, first of all, but even worse, no Bestial Claws. This skill does way too much damage for you to be using this and then this, especially when you already have the debuff already up. So this is not good. And then you're going to stun. I like it. Stun. Guarantee the kill. Nice. So let's see. Okay, so you're going to go into this Pack Hunters. That's fine. Pack Hunters, Eye Gouge, Claws. Nice. That was good. Then Rend. Nice. And then Piercing Claws. Okay, that was pretty good. Now, I like puddling before I stun. So what I would do here if you were playing it perfectly, all right? I mean, absolutely perfectly, is you would go puddle, Eye Gouge, Tendon Shred. That can be a little tricky. That takes a little practice. But if you do that, now they're in puddle, they're Tendon Shredded, and then immediately as soon as they're stunned, you can instantly Bestial Claws. And then you can instantly get that swipe or the Piercing Claws. And then you can Bestial Claws 2 times while they're stunned. Because if you look at this, you stun, and because you're puddling for a skill, you only get to use claws once before they've turned around. Oh, they don't turn around, but they should have turned around, right? So you want to try and use Bestial Claws as soon as they're stunned, even if it means you don't puddle. A lot of information here. Here's another little trick. Your puddle is useful, but if you're using shadow damage, right, you have that traded, your puddle is a lot weaker. I mean a lot weaker. For most Freeps, it will only do around 9 or 10% more damage on your skills, which is a lot, but remember, it doesn't last a long time. So it only does about, depending on the target, only about 9 or 10% more damage on your hits, because the shadow mitigation is a lot less, like I'm talking way less than the Orcraft Fell Rot. So if you're using physical damage, puddle is strong. If you're using tactical damage, puddle is weak. It's still okay to use, but it's just a lot weaker. It's, I think, 3 times as weak. Or this one is 3 times as strong. This one is 1/3. This one is like 300. This one is only like 100. It's a lot weaker. Okay. Okay, so another hips. This would be a situation where, it'd be fine to use your fleas here. Just get a fleas on this target, this target, this target. Make them use their cleanses, slow down their DPS a lot, help your war leader out. Fleas is Warg's strongest debuff to slow down fights. You notice how, if you've ever played in organized group fights, Rain of Arrows, or Death Blossom, with BA, you know about that. You use that to slow down the enemy team from bursting down your healers. Like, let's say your healers are under a lot of pressure. Use your Death Blossom, slow them down, root them all in place just for a couple of seconds. Spiders will use their crowd control and their webs. Defilers will use their AoE Fear. War leaders will use their Shield Bash. Reavers will use their Dust. Maybe they'll get a Hamstring. They'll slow down the enemy team. For you can't do a lot of that. You can stun sometimes, but you really don't want to use your stuns to slow them down. But what you can do is you can fleas. That is a pretty big thing, and it's really annoying for them to remove. So I would highly recommend using it when you're gonna hit this many targets. Okay. This is another situation where I wouldn't go for the warden. That you see a burglar here, focus on the squishy targets. The burglar is just, he doesn't want to deal with you. He really doesn't want to deal with your stuns, your slows, all those things. And I think you have the right idea here. Yeah. See, this is perfect. You're kiting around, you get your disappear, you're gonna get a nice pounce here. And you're gonna get it on the burglar as well, which is obviously your best target, okay? Pounce, now I wanna see pounce, eye gouge, claws, maul. That's what I want to see. Uh-oh. Oh. Nice. Very good. That was perfect. You cut the pounce to the eye gouge into the claws. That's exactly what you want. Perfect. Brilliant. I don't actually know what happened to him. Oh, did she die? I think you swapped target. Yeah, you swapped targets. You got the stun, and then you swapped targets because you saw this person coming out of stuff. That's okay. I don't think that's a bad play or a good play. I'm not really sure if it's the best play or not, but I think it's fine because I think you could have gotten a lot of damage and maybe bursted down this guy, maybe even gotten the kill, maybe forced him to disappear or hips, but you know this guy has like no cooldown, so you might focus him down. That's okay. All right, let's see. Maul, because claws is not ready yet. Okay, now claws, eye gouge, piercing claws. You already have maul, you already have rend. Piercing claws will probably do a lot of damage. That's the one reason why I don't like having the percentage bars here, because maybe this guy has like 600k HP, right? And a piercing claws will do a lot, right? If piercing claws crits, it does 9%. So that would be 54k damage from a piercing claws if that crits, right? But what if he's like, 290k? Well, then, yeah, you should probably go for rend instead, or you should go for swipe instead, because that's not going to do a lot of damage. So this is nice for like raids and stuff, but I don't think it's very good for PvP. Okay, let's see what you do. Maul, let's see, claws. Uh-oh, you rended again. He already had rend. Okay, you're going to get the slow up. That's fine. Good. Wait a second. No. You could do this, and then this. But claws is first. It's got 1 second cooldown. You use it as much as you possibly can. It does too much damage for you not to use it. It needs to be a priority. Claws. A little bit of... Okay, good. Maul. Good. Now go back to claws. Go right back. Okay. Oh, he's knives out. Okay. This would maybe a situation where I would just frenzy and then fleas. And go from there. Your war leader seems actually okay. These sweeps are doing just no damage at all. So you're probably okay. You're gonna keep damaging him. Yeah, see, I wouldn't even bother puddling. He's not, he's taking basically no damage, and then puddling just means he's still taking no damage. So I don't know. I don't agree with this move. There's the stun pot. Nice. It's a little late though. Like we said, we would have liked it earlier in the fight. Okay, piercing claws maybe? Piercing claws? No, this is messy. So this is a little messy. Now, Lord of the Rings can be a little buggy sometimes, but claws, eye gouge, you need to hit that piercing claws quick, because you can turn around, and you see this? You're not facing a target. So now you're maul, you spam rend, you're just spamming now. You have no idea what's going on. And no skill, and then now you get the skill off. That's too late. Okay, you're gonna cripple again. You've just crippled. You just crippled like literally 10 seconds ago. Alrighty. All right, claws. Now, yeah. Let's go. One other thing for group play, which I'm sure you know, but obviously this heal does like 140, 150 healing over time. It is not bad. And especially when you're grouped with a solo war leader, I'm sure he would appreciate the 150 healing. So you can do Rallying Howl, Eye Gouge, Claws. It's worth using. Keep your little war leader healthy. Okay, Claws. You're gonna puddle. All right. Uh-oh, you messed up the puddle. That's a little too far away. That sucks. That's okay. Happens sometimes. Gonna Rallying Howl. Nice. Prefer to make sure you have Eye Gouge for it, because you can just launch it instantly. That's a good cut though. That was good. I saw that. That was nice. Now Maul. Nice. Ooh, nice. Now claws again. Claws again. Do claws, 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 claws. See, this here, I wouldn't even bother ending. Do you see the debuff? It's still there. And even if it wasn't there, he's so low in morale, you might as well just go. Oh, he's got this. It doesn't matter. I would. You don't need to rend again. He already has rend. Okay, so let's see claws. Eye gouge, piercing claws. He's got knives out up. Piercing claws goes right through knives out. It doesn't affect piercing claws at all. Do it. Do it. You're gonna slow. That's fine. Okay, nice little stun. Now he's got knives out, so might not be able to get a lot of damage done here, but you do get piercing claws. That's huge. Puddle. We talked about the puddle. I like puddling right as you stun, not after you stun, so you can do full damage in the stun. No, this skill first, then eye gouge, and then you can do this skill. Now technically, you should do this skill, and then this skill, right? Remember, you've already got the rend debuff. This does more damage. Plus, look at this, the evade chance. This skill cannot be evaded. All right. Not a good chain of skills there. All right, now you're stuck too. This is why you need to use claws first, because if you use claws last, well, now what do you use? You see? What skill do you use? I mean, you can use swipe, but now you're just looking at a blank skill bar, right? That's why you use claws first. You keep it on cooldown over and over and over again, so you never run out of skills to use. Because you end up, I mean, this doesn't do anything. This will stop, I think, Addle, but you don't care about Addle. That's a little annoying. Maybe you're big brain. Maybe you said, oh, my war leader's inducting. I'm going to throat rip so he doesn't interrupt the induction. But I doubt that. Okay. All right, nice. Frenzy, there's the Frenzy, finally. A little bit of a rallying howl here, okay. All right, let's get on that. I would get on the Warden here. I think a Warden is going to be a lot faster to kill. Maybe you see the red rank here and you're like, oh, easy kill. But obviously any Guardian that's halfway decent is going to pop Thrill of Danger, the Reflect heal, and then the full heal, and then they're going to pot, and then they're going to also, they're going to pop Catch a Breath, which is like another 50% heal, and then they're going to sprint, and they're going to stun. They're really annoying. Warden, pretty easy to kill. All right, slow. He's immune. Now you can stun him. Maybe that's what you're doing here. I think, yeah, that's what you're doing. You're stunning. Okay. Unlucky. Good try. You even canceled it 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to 4. This is great. You know what? Actually, this is really good. You crippled. You pounce, eye gouge, claws, maul. Brilliant. Perfect skill priority. Obviously, against a Guardian with a lot of HP, maybe this does a little bit more damage, but this is okay to use. I think that's okay. Okay, let's do maul. Get that maul. I would prioritize the maul first. I know. I think you just didn't realize how far away you were. I don't think you realized that you missed your maul. Okay. That was an eye gouge. You cut nothing with that eye gouge. Maul. No. Stop using this skill. Whoops. Stop using this skill. Stop it. Use it too much. Maul. And then you go back to it. And then this skill is available too. You know? All right. Too much rend. Okay. Eye gouge. Not nice. That was a good chain. That was good. I would prefer claws, eye gouge, and then piercing claws, but that's okay too. All right. Maul. Nice. You see these that you could be potting, by the way? Okay, no, do not use this skill. Go back to claws, eye gouge, and then you can do rend, or claws, eye gouge, and then you can do swipe, right? Don't go back to rend. No. And you're gonna slow again. He's still got sprint. And you're gonna silence. This doesn't do anything to my knowledge. I don't play Guardian, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything important anyway. Okay, we're gonna go for the stun. Hopefully we get it. We don't. Puddle, eye gouge, claws. Okay. Maul. Nice. Now, I know what you're going to do. You're going to go right back to rend. But you shouldn't. You should go back to claws. One skill, back to claws. One skill, back to claws. One skill, back to claws. Almost always, that's how you want to do things. So this needs to be claws, eye gouge, piercing claws. Now, to finish this off, I'm gonna pause every couple of seconds, and you can pause the video too, and you should ask yourself, what skill should I use? Like right now, what skill should you use? Did you start off with piercing claws? If not, what would you use instead? Think about it for a second. All right. Because at this point, I'm just going to be repeating myself. So you just need to think about it. All right. Let's see here. I'm going to skip a little through this. Let's see. I'll just look at your burst, so I can't go much longer, but I can look at your burst really quick. There's not much time left. Okay. We won't be able to see this. Looking good. Nice. You're going to go back on the captain who's scaled. That's great. Easy kill. Do you take it? Here comes the pounce. Oh, you don't have it yet. That's unfortunate. Okay. Huge. Instantly killed. It's a lot of damage. Nice. Okay. Uh-oh. Yeah, maybe not the best target. And if you're going to go for this target, again, remember what we talked about with the stun pot. First stun if you can. First stun if you can. Use that. Especially if it's a daze, and you know you're going to be dazed with the armor of the elements. Okay, so this is something to look at. This happens a lot, and I'm not sure what you're trying to press here, but look. What are you cutting? Why are you using this skill? You use this skill first, then cut it, and then you get to do another skill, right? You get to choose. This is no good. This happens a lot. This needs to change. Okay. Leading with this, when you have this available and you have positional, this is going to do more damage than this, I promise you. Unless this target is like a million HP, right? like unless they have 1,000,000 HP, this skill will do more, especially when they have positional. So claws, eye gouge, and then this, and then this, right? Still got the armor of the elements. Use that stun pot. Okay. You could tendon shred this. Nice. That's exactly what you're going to do. Brilliant. I don't know why you're running away. I think your movement messed up a little bit there. Okay. Still don't like the puddle after you stun, but it's okay. And I do think puddle is more important now because look at all the people hitting this target, right? I think I saw a BA here. Yeah, there's a BA right here and you. So that's 4 people that are going to do 9-10% more damage, or if they're doing like Fellrot Warcraft damage, they're going to do like 30% more damage or more, even 35. So, you're basically providing a group buff to your everybody shooting this target. So I think puddle is definitely worth using here. Just maybe if you could have been done right as you stun instead of after. He already has rend. Maybe he didn't have rend yet. Okay, he didn't have rend yet. Maybe that's okay. I still would like claws, eye gouge, and then rend, but that's okay. Not as bad. Again, don't leave with this. Do this, this, and then this. Okay. We'll skip forward a little bit. I don't want to repeat myself. And so what I would do for the rest of the video here. Okay, well, I'm not coaching you, BA. But yeah, what I would do is if you have any other footage or any other fights that you haven't uploaded to YouTube, think about 2 things. Think about your skill priority. In other words, which skills should I use first? Am I using the highest damage skill? Am I using rend too much? And with your skill priority, I especially want you to look at your rend. Are you using rend in situations where you have claws, where you have maul, where you have piercing claws, or even if you have swipe available? Be careful. Look, this is highlight number 1. And then in terms of not your skills, but like your little tricks, let's just put here, I would look specifically at wound pots, red pots. So we talked about, where's your morale pot? I think we saw them. There were some morale pots there later, and we talked about your incoming damage food, right? But for you, I think the big one to worry about is get those wound pots, man. Get those red wound pots and learn how to spam them in your fights. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know, and hope you found this helpful.